In the bustling village of Lomé, Togo, the market square was alive with the hum of traders and the chatter of villagers. Among them stood Kofi, a mysterious food seller whose stall drew crowds from every corner of the village and beyond. The scent of his dishes, rich, spicy, and utterly irresistible, wafted through the air, pulling people from their homes and shops. Kofi's food was legendary, each bite a burst of flavor that left customers craving more. No one knew where he sourced his ingredients or how he crafted such unforgettable meals. Kofi was a quiet man, solitary, with no known family in Lomé. He appeared at the market each dawn, his pots brimming with steaming stews, jollof rice, or perfectly spiced grilled meat. No matter how many lined up, there was always enough to go around. He arrived before the roosters crowed and left long after the stars emerged, his routine as predictable as the sunrise. Some whispered he had a hidden fortune, others swore he wielded secret powers. But Kofi never spoke of his methods, and his silence only fueled the village's curiosity. Not everyone in Lomé celebrated Kofi's success. A group of market vendors, led by Kwame, a burly man who sold fufu and soup, grew resentful. For years, Kwame had toiled at his stall, yet his sales paled compared to Kofi's. How does he feed so many with just a few pots? Kwame grumbled to his fellow vendors. It's not right. Something's off about him. I've never seen him buy ingredients, one vendor muttered. Does he even live in Lomé? Another added. The whispers grew darker. What if he's using juju to enchant his food? A third suggested, eyes wide with suspicion. Their envy festered, and they tried to mimic Kofi's recipes, but their dishes never matched his magic. Frustrated, Kwame began spreading rumors. Be wary of Kofi's food, he warned passers-by. Who knows what he puts in it? It could be cursed. Despite the gossip, Kofi's stall remained the heart of the market. Even the village chief sent runners to buy his meals for feast. Kwame's resentment boiled over one evening when he returned home, his baskets unsold, while Kofi's stall had been swarmed all day. As he entered his house, his wife, Oma, greeted him. What shall I cook tonight? She asked. Kwame waved her off. No need. I ate at Kofi's stall earlier. His stew was incredible, best I've ever had. Oma's face fell, her own cooking suddenly seeming inadequate. Even my children prefer his food, she admitted, her voice tight. They say mine doesn't compare. Kwame's anger flared. His own family, swayed by Kofi's cooking. It was too much. The next morning, Kwame arrived at the market early, his eyes fixed on Kofi's stall. As Kofi set up, customers already forming a line, Kwame's blood boiled. His wife and children joined the queue, laughing as they waited. Unable to contain himself, Kwame stormed over, pushing through the crowd. Kofi, he bellowed, silencing the market. You need to stop selling to my family. Kofi looked up, calm as ever. Kwame, I don't force anyone to buy. They come because they're hungry. You're stealing my family. Kwame shouted. They won't eat Omo's food anymore. They only want yours. It's not fair. Kofi's voice remained steady. I cook. People eat. I don't take anyone from you. The crowd murmured, some nodding in agreement with Kofi. Humiliated, Kwame stormed off, the whispers of the market trailing behind him. That night, he couldn't sleep, his mind consumed with rage. He resolved to uncover Kofi's secret. After the market closed, Kwame hid near Kofi's stall, watching as the vendor packed up and left, a basket in hand. Determined to learn the truth, Kwame followed, keeping to the shadows. Kofi walked a quiet path out of Lomé, his steps sure in the moonlight. Kwame's heart pounded as he trailed behind, curiosity battling his anger. Kofi stopped in a secluded clearing, setting his basket by a small fire pit. Kwame crouched behind a tree, watching as Kofi tapped the ground. To his horror, the earth shifted, and a lifeless body rose from the soil. Kwame stifled a gasp, his stomach churning. Kofi began preparing the body, slicing it as if it were market meat. A strange energy filled the air, and before Kwame could flee, Kofi's eyes locked onto his. "You shouldn't have followed me," Kofi said, his voice low. With a flick of his wrist, he muttered words Kwame couldn't understand. A tingling sensation washed over Kwame, and suddenly, the world went silent. He tried to scream, but no sound came. Panic surged as he realized he could neither hear nor speak. "You learn to respect my work," Kofi said, though Kwame couldn't hear. "This food carries the essence of those who came before." He ladled a dark, fragrant stew from his pot and held it out. "Eat." Kwame shook his head, horrified, but Kofi's gaze was unrelenting. "Refuse, and you'll regret it." Trembling, Kwame forced down the stew, its rich taste masking a sinister undertone. Each swallow felt like a betrayal of his own soul. When he finished, Kofi nodded. "Go. But remember this." Kwame stumbled home, mute and deaf, the weight of the meal heavy in his gut. The next day, Kwame's wife, Oma, noticed his silence. "What's wrong?" she asked, alarmed. He gestured frantically, unable to explain. Tears streamed down his face as he pointed to his throat, but no words came. Oma, desperate, sought answers at the market. There, she met ESI, a fellow vendor who had grown suspicious of Kofi. "Kwame confronted Kofi yesterday," Oma's CONF ejected, "and now he can't speak or hear." ESI's eyes widened. "I've heard strange things about Kofi," she whispered. "We need to find out what he's hiding." ESI visited a juju priest in a nearby village, sharing Kwame's story. The priest's face grew grave. "Kofi is no ordinary man. His power is dark. Take this charm for protection, and watch him carefully. But beware, if he catches you, your life is at risk." That night, ESI followed Kofi to the clearing, the priest's charm clutched tightly. She watched, horrified, as he unearthed another body, preparing it for his pot. Trembling, she recorded the scene on her phone, capturing undeniable proof. Steeling herself, ESI stepped forward. "Kofi, I know what you're doing. The village will see this." Kofi's face twisted with rage. "You're nothing against me." He raised his hand, dark energy crackling, but ESI held up the charm, chanting prayers from her mother's old Bible. The air shimmered with light, and Kofi's power faltered. His spells weakened, and he collapsed, defeated. ESI tied him up and marched him to the village, showing the video to the elders. The police arrested Kofi, and the village reeled in shock. The chief, humbled, appointed ESI as an advisor for her bravery. Days later, Kofi was found dead in his cell, his dark magic seemingly turned against him. Amma apologized to ESI, revealing Kwame's voice and hearing had returned. The village mourned its losses but found peace, free from Kofi's terror. ESI, holding her Bible close, knew her faith and courage had saved Lomé.